YouTube fan, we're back, episode 203 of the TimboSugarShow. Tim had to go help Mariah do something, and our guest Sonnen helped too. But we do got Jon Anik later out of the pod. I don't want to say too much because maybe Tim wants to say something. Tim, what do you got? You're fucking weird, dude. You're fucking weird, dude. What'd you think about Tai Tuivasa versus Ciryl Gane? Cereal? Oh, man, Ty almost had him. He clipped him there. I was really, really rooting for him. I put $5 on him, but I lost $5 on him. Yeah, what'd you think? Honestly, I thought, like, it was a really great performance from Gane. Very technical. Just a big heavyweight, jacked. Kind of looks like you, jokes. Honestly, was impressed, though. You know who I was really impressed with was Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori was a hell of a fight. It was weird. It was only 3 rounds because I was watching it like it was a 5-round fight. So in the third round, it was like the end of the fight. I'm like, these motherfuckers, this is such a high level championship fight, like championship level fight. I'm like, this shit should be 5 rounds. But then I was like, fuck that, because that means some of my fights should be 5 rounds when they should only be 3 rounds. Yeah, dude, 5 and 3 and shit. Yeah, I was just talking and shit. You get your shit figured out?
Yes, we did. IV Center is going to be up and running in this gym within a week.
My boo, Danny needs an IV. She woke up sick today, and I feel bad.
I'm fucking pumped, dude. Yeah, it's going to be called Quick Drip IV inside the gym. Get fucking charged up whenever you need.
Wet puss.
Did you watch the main event last night?
Yeah, me and you just talked about it.
Oh, did you really?
No, me and you.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it. We kind of heard your thoughts a little bit. But what are your other
fucking
thoughts?
teeps to the gut. Teeps to the fucking gut. And Cereal, he throws those teeps not like
Jay Blake might have fucked up the camera, bud.
Like a Muay Thai kick. He stabs people.
Yeah.
And
very athletic.
Fucking athletic and long, and he's rangy as fuck.
Dude, Ty's stomach going into that second, third round is just looking sad. Did you see that? Like at the beginning of the fight, his stomach was... There was little, like, it was a smiley. Yeah. By the end of that fucking, dude, that thing was drooping.
A lot of people with love handles like that, though. That's where they that's where they get their KO power from. Their hips and their shoulders turning over and just fucking cracking people.
Is Ty? Because you could tell those were hurting bad. Like, we've been both kicked with like those. And he was still just fucking biting on that mouth guard, throwing balls.
Well, did you see the hammer fist to the back of his noggin?
I did see that.
That is definitely what KO'd him.
No, I would say definitely.
Bro, it is. That was a pure fucking boom right to the back of his neck.
I did see that. Ugh.
Because he was eating those shots.
I don't think that was the KO shot.
I think it was, bro.
I think the head kick that landed smooth helped. The front kick that landed to his face. A couple other punches that landed fair. But yeah, I did see the to the back of the noggin.
Fuck, I wanted to see him win so bad, dude. I wanted to see him win, and he...
Because he has, I mean, God, it's him versus John Jones, him versus Francis, him versus, is this the back of the head one?
Right. Bang.
Oh.
That shut him out. I mean, it was on the way.
Yeah.
He was on the way, but that definitely turned the fucking lights on.
How scary is that motherfucker, dude? Gone. Being that big, that jab, too. How beautiful was that jab?
Oh, how snappy it was.
Yeah.
Snappier and faster and shit and long as fuck. I hope I hope they make that match.
Versus Ciryl?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously. Ciryl. Yeah, I don't know. I'm Jon Jones versus Gane because Francis already beat Gane. Is Francis still out? Still injured?
I think so.
Or is he still in his last fight? Like saying, I don't know.
Well, they said what Jon Jones tweeted to UFC 282 could be him versus Stipe Miocic.
Dude, that would be fucking sweet. Yeah, we haven't seen Stipe in a long time too. How weird was it? Maybe it wasn't Marvin versus Robert. That it was 3 rounds. I was watching it for some reason, thinking it was 5. Like, just like those guys are a main event fight. Like, it was weird when it was like the end of the third. I was like, damn, this fight's over.
Yeah, I won my little parlay yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I bet on the Nasrat guy, Robert, and then Cereal to win.
Damn. How much you win? 5 for 20 or what?
Way more than that, brother.
Seriously?
Try 6 figures.
Speaking of betting and shit, dude, I've been eating so fucking clean. And then Danny made these fucking just bomb burgers, but I really just was craving that cheese from like the Aftermath cheese. So she found this.
Is that like a Velveeta?
Yeah, she found this cheese that's in this organic mac and cheese box and made it. It was so good, dude. But I feel like it was just my body just didn't want it, and I woke up at like 4, kind of hot. And I think I had a couple extra little organic cookies that I shouldn't have probably had. Not that I shouldn't have had, because I was still kind of within my meal plan, but it was a cheat. It was a very, very small cheat considering being 7 weeks out.
So the night before sparring, say Friday night, what did you eat?
I think I had quinoa, chicken, and greens.
It wasn't really a charge up meal though, really?
Just, dude, every day is the same shit.
Yeah. That's why I'm wondering. I wonder if like ask Dan to almost get more charged up with some cows before sparring. Sometimes I wonder if he would be down.
I don't know. He's actually gonna be cutting my fucking carbs on certain days because he actually wants me even lighter this camp. When I go to Abu Dhabi, he wants me about a pound lighter than I've been.
Oh, really?
So
to make it easier and smoother. I know. I was just trying to think. I wish. Well, we'll find out what hotel we're staying in soon, won't we?
Yeah. So I think we know what hotel, but I told Emron, or asked Emron if he would start figuring out, like, I need a fucking kitchen. I have to. I can't not have a kitchen when I'm there. If I'm going to be there that early, because I have to talk to you and Brandon too. Like, I still need my fucking meals, because Trifecta fight week they'll have them, but we're going to be there 10 days before that, so we're going to have to.
I wonder if the Trifecta can get there early too.
No UFC people are going there early. I already asked.
That fucking new gold chain. Holy shit. How many grams is that puppy?
My neck's like, I forget. They told me.
So is that like 12 karat or 14 karat?
14, baby.
Holy
It's
fuck.
heavy.
So you could melt that puppy down and be.
Yeah, this thing's fucking hanging on my chin. It is 419 grams. Miami Cuban.
God, why is it that pussy can make us do such dumb shit, dude? Why is it? Please help me with that.
It's similar to being drunk almost.
It's so weird. You can't even be rational sometimes, depending on how warmed up you are.
Yeah. I feel like I'm getting back into. I remember last camp I said the same thing where I was just like worn out. Like I have that horniness that I have kind of goes away a little bit. And it's nice. It's definitely not gone all the way, but it tampers down a bit.
You watched Countdown. Countdown came out today about Khamzat and Nate.
I didn't.
You know how UFC is. They're so good at selling it like this thing's going to be close. And Chael,
are they selling it like that? Or are they selling it like fucking it's not?
No,
I haven't watched really much of that.
But what was Chael's video?
Chael came out with a video saying, I think it was labeled I sparred with Nate Diaz. And this was 10 years ago, he said. He said he was in his prime. He was training for a championship level fight. He was 2 weeks out. And Nate Diaz was, he was obviously in the UFC. Chael said he had 50 pounds on Nate. And they were wearing boxing gloves, sparring. MMA sparring, wearing boxing gloves. At the end of the 5 minutes, after the end of the round, Matt Lindland, I think is what he said, Chael, why didn't you take him down? Chael's like, I tried. Nate, why couldn't I take you down? And he said Nate's response was, I just don't like doing jiu-jitsu. I can't set up my jiu-jitsu off my back with those big gloves. Chael said he literally was trying to take him down.
See, I don't believe that though.
It's hard to believe Chael.
Yeah.
The great, undefeated, powerful.
I still love listening to his stories, even though you know they're cap, but
I do too.
A 215-pound Division I national champion wrestler couldn't take down Nate Diaz,
that's what
the 155-pound slanging Mexican.
That's what he's saying.
No.
But he's saying Nate has the ability to, to fight takedowns more so than he does. He usually kind of doesn't. He just goes down
because he trusts his guard.
Yeah. Dude, I'm taking Nate 5th round finish, baby, till I die, blood. 209, throw it up, Stockton, motherfucker.
It would be different if it's like okay. Khamzat is a striker. He's a crazy striker. He tattoos people, everything. But he's a fucking this gnarly, huge grappler.
Yeah, he's gonna gas, baby.
Yeah.
Do you have are we using this laptop or
probably that one?
We got a couple minutes, but I just
they got some Phoenix Coffee Shop offers jobs, life skill training for kids aging out of foster care. We're getting our coffee shop, starting to get it lined up. It's gonna be pretty fucking.
Should we tell them what we're gonna name it? What the fuck?
What up, Soybean Dallas?
What up, fucking Dallas, Texas? You call them Soybean Dallas? Dad, where'd you get them shoes? StockX? Before you dipped? Ha! Shit, fly, baby, flyer than a motherfucker. Swerve.
Yeah, but we're gonna serve some nice quality organic coffee. Have a simple menu. Have maybe a soft opening planning, maybe around January. Like I said, we're getting all the logistics in line, but it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be sweet. Right next door to the gym. This whole plaza is gonna be fucking dialed in.
Yeah, no, it is. It's exciting stuff, man. Exciting fucking stuff. Sono moved down. He's the third Jobin. Brendan and Schmitty moved down. What the? Make sure they don't turn off everything. Like 6 months ago or something like that. Sono just moved down. They're living in the house.
It's exciting.
Exciting shit. If
pull that mic a little closer.
Talk to that mic, bud. Talk to the mic. Say what's up to the fam.
Check. Good.
Checkity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, brother. Anytime a Christian wants to move down, I'll let him stay.
Move it down a little bit. Talking to the blue light. So what are you going to school for here, Sono?
I am getting my broadcasting and communications degree. My dream's to be like a sports announcer or something like
Blake
that.
Anik?
Like Anik, yeah. That's why when you guys said he was on, I was like, oh, shit.
Damn, no fucking flirt.
So what would you like to announce? Like fighting or like what kind of shit?
I love football. Like and I could do that. I know every play. I know when people get cut from teams.
Do you have a voice that kind of goes with it, or?
I think I could get one.
You could work on one?
Give us a little tester right here, live on air.
Margie, are you single and ready to mingle?
Oh my god.
Elway drops back. Oh, see, I could
do. You got the Bob Menery one, don't you?
Holy fucking shit! Yeah, I do. I got the Bob Menery voice. I could hit anytime. But yeah, Sono's down. Good time. One of our COD partners. He fucking absolutely sucks. Similar to Schmitty and Tim. I carry the team as usual. Yeah.
Felt so bad saying my bad words with foul nets.
Yeah, I know. We forget. I mean, that's his full-time job.
Oh,
he cannot risk getting banned, and you will get banned if you have someone like you saying bad shit and it's on his stream.
Really?
Yeah, and he's not likely to, but he does have a good, decent little following. He's been doing it for a long time, but he will get banned. Like like some people don't give a fuck about like YouTube banned Steve for what? No, do you know why he got banned?
Gambling.
Well, literally shit. Because on his second channel, not the main channel, on his second channel it said stake. Which is fine. You can gamble on there. You can say make sure you guys sign up on stake. All this shit. But his editor didn't blur out the .com of stake. So his second channel, it had stake.com, and they permanently banned his main channel because of that. Jeez. So there's no explanation.
Fucked.
Maybe it's something different.
Did you see how he's doing it with his girl now?
Selena?
Like same exact shit.
Yeah, she's good for her.
He's doing the same stuff he was doing on her channel.
She's doing it. It's her channel. She's running it. Steve, he's made an appearance a couple times here and there, but she's doing her own shit.
But doing giveaways and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's so fucked, though, that they can just do that.
That's sad. I mean,
remember when we got flagged for some shit, too? With the sporting shit?
Yeah.
It was, weird. Something about that gambling shit. It's not legal everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was literally just having that .com on his second page, though, is what he said.
I know we all joke about it and shit, and it's like, oh, we don't even think about it. But if they did start just really tying down the internet, it'd be fucking insane, dude.
It would be crazy. But then there's the freedom of speech, but also it's their platform. Where's the line between it's freedom of speech and it's it's their fucking platform. They created it. If you don't like it, you go create your own. Well, I'm not smart enough. Well, it fucking sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where's the line? Mm-hmm. Your client has been successfully updated. What does that mean?
Well, it's the same thing with the monetization too, right? They can just take your video from monetization just for one thing they don't like. If
there's copyright music or it's age restricted,
because Nelk doesn't make any money off their videos, right?
Nelk doesn't, but that's because they use music. Okay. Then, Danny Duncan. You ever watch Danny Duncan?
I love Danny Duncan.
Fucking funny, bro.
Yes, he is. I like his shorts too. Now that you put those out.
Yeah, I follow his Snapchat too. It's pretty funny, dude. His little buddies, fucking Cameron and Kiwan.
Yep.
Those motherfuckers crack me up. He's got a good thing going there,
dude. I hope this sets up somehow Colby versus Khamzat.
That's what Kamaru Usman was saying. He said that would make sense. If Khamzat goes and beat Diaz, he should fight. He said Colby's in. Did you listen to that at all?
No.
Kamaru?
I listened to like first 5 to 10 minutes.
I listened to the whole thing. It's actually really good. Really good podcast. Yeah, he said Colby would be the best guy in the division if it wasn't for him. He seems to think, dude, it's crazy. He got knocked the fuck out. He said zero headache, zero anything. Said it felt like a 20-minute nap. Woke up, felt fine.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if he's back training already.
He said it's been hard not training. He said he's listening to the professionals and they're saying that you might have some swelling in your brain, bruising. Let's not. But he said he's bored as fuck.
Oh God, I'm sure.
I would just jay off. No, dude, I jayed off at 4:30 this morning or 5.
Really?
Yeah, I woke up, dude, and I was like, I think it was from that cheese and the little extra sugar I had. Like I woke up and I was like, oh, I was like, fuck. I went outside for like 20 minutes, laid in the hammock. The sun was kind of rising. I was like, this is beautiful. And then I was like, I'm bored. Grabbing my wiener.
Just
I'm like,
fucking
well.
give it a yank, huh?
Went and watched that Sky Girl again. I was like, damn. Wow. I'll be telling people that shit, Jay. That was fucking boys talk. Anyway.
Anderson
Talk about your
Silva.
E-date.
Oh yeah.
No.
Anderson Silva got granted his boxing license in Arizona.
Dude, how crazy.
That would be huge.
All the boys going out.
I wonder if it'd sell out one of the arenas.
That's what I was wondering. I wonder if, because
think it
Schmitty
would.
said tickets are going to be expensive. I'm like, I don't know.
I feel like it would.
I think it'll sell out, but I don't know if tickets will be super expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I got fucking way too high last night. Way too high. Saturday, I was like, took a little via, took some bong rippers, and just ate way too many snackers.
How'd you smoke?
Bong.
Damn, I haven't been B-ripping in a minute, bruh.
I feel like that's all Schmitty does at the house.
Oh, shit.
7,
Yes,
6,
sir.
5.
That was my fault. What's up, brother?
This hoodie was actually worn by Sean O'Malley.
Indeed. No, dude, thank you, brother. I need
Does
to
it
send
smell
you
like
out.
shit?
Shut up. I need to send you out a nice little care package. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for hopping on with us and chit-chatting for a bit.
Of course, man, anytime.
Where are you at right now, John?
I am actually in Calabasas, California. Brian Stan is getting married tonight. So my former broadcast partner, second wedding for him. So we had the rehearsal last night, and I'll drive to Vegas for the pay-per-view Monday morning.
Sweet. Are you in the wedding?
No, thank God. No, I don't have to say anything, do anything. Just bring in my little pen.
Fuck yeah. So what kind of schooling did you go through, and what kind of previous jobs did you have before you working with UFC?
So I've been doing this a long time. You know, I grew up in Boston, and it was a rabid sports town. Obviously, I thought I wanted to be a newspaper writer. Then my goals kind of shifted to radio. But I spent about 6 years in Bristol, Connecticut at ESPN, and it kind of crystallized for me in a lot of respects, like what I didn't want to do, which was be a highlight machine sitting in a studio, you know, all right, let's go to Oakland, top 2 Royals and A's. Like I didn't want to do that Monday through Friday. I was working the graveyard shift a lot. And I got a taste of doing live events for Bellator in 2009. And that kind of changed everything. I had been covering boxing and MMA a little bit. But once I got a taste of doing play-by-play, and you can actually sort of be a part of the live event instead of recapping it on a highlight show afterward, you know, my goals shifted, my brain opened up, and, you know, thankfully I've been doing live events now ever since, you know.
I got a little taste of the commentating there on Dana White's Contender Series, and I got to sit in on that meeting that I'm sure you guys have all the time before every fight. And there's a lot that goes into each fighter, each fight, you know, their backgrounds, and it was very impressive to see how, you know, Lawrence Sanko was sitting in there and like her sheets and her notes and stuff. I've seen you do some, you know, your spreadsheets or your cards and stuff. So that's there's a lot more that goes into that I got to see, which was really cool.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I appreciate you saying that, especially somebody on your level, right? Because for a guy like you, even a guy like you, one of, I would say, the top 5 to 7 superstars on this UFC roster, I still prep you, you know, as if it's your UFC debut, right? I even went to your Instagram before this interview to make sure nothing major happened in your life so that I can be prepared. But sometimes, yeah, dude, it's like 30 athletes. And if I'm in a back-to-back situation where I got a 15-fight card one weekend and then 13 the next weekend, it's 56 athletes in 8 days any way you slice it. But what I try to think about is they're going to show this fight to their family. And there are a lot of their family and friends that are watching live. So I better fucking get their name right for starters. And I better be able to mix in some of the stuff that really matters for them so that when they watch this back, either shortly thereafter or 10 years from now, the audio at least withstands the test of time. So I take it very seriously, perhaps too seriously at times. Like right now, I have 18 of the 26 athletes pretty much prepared. We're 6 days out, but there's 8 athletes I haven't yet touched.
Damn. And will you go back and watch like highlights or at least one of their fights before, or how does that work? Like watching fights back, or does it depend on the athlete and how many times you've already watched them fight?
Yes, that plays into it for sure. And sometimes if I'm in a back-to-back, there's just going to be less film study. There's so much to be done in terms of show formatics. Like even when we show you guys in the locker room, I don't always ad-lib that stuff. I'm trying to maximize those 20 seconds when they show you in the back, So there's a lot of ways for us to let our research shine throughout a broadcast. But it's pretty cumbersome, man. Like I really try to use as much of my time as possible. Like I like to tell people, even like day of show, if I have like an East Coast pay-per-view, I'll wake up day of show. I might be light on a couple athletes. And oftentimes the last nugget I find before I fucking put my suit on will be the one that I'll use on their walkout. So, it's a labor of love, but it's definitely intense. And certainly Dominic Cruz would be the first to tell you, his prep is rooted in film study. Some guys don't watch as much film. Brian Stan used to go back and watch like their UFC debut and then watch their last UFC fight to see the progression. There's only so many hours in the day, but at the very least, in a long-winded way, I will say that I watched back the last fight for all 26 or 30 athletes.
It seems like, dude, you're so fucking dialed in on all those fight nights. You keep those guys in line and save them a lot of the times. Like, do you stay sober the day of filming completely, or do you do caffeine? What kind of shit do you do?
Yeah, I try to run 4 or 5 miles, certainly to clear my head. And then, it's mostly caffeine, but I try to monitor it early in the day. And oftentimes I won't get a chance to take a leak over 8 hours. So my bladder is literally conditioned to hold liquid because oftentimes I don't get a chance to leave. So there's a lot that goes into the mental prep. And, I feel like my anxiety is much more in the prep than the performance, like I get more nervous to go to Brian Stan's wedding where I know nobody than to call a Sean O'Malley or a Conor McGregor fight on pay-per-view. That's much more in my wheelhouse than, putting on a happy face for these people tonight, but yeah, I definitely try to get my mind and body right. And, we're 11 years in. I haven't had to miss a show yet. So, trying to do everything I can on show day to put myself in a position to succeed. But it's a fucking grind, man. Like last time I did a major college football game was 2015. And dude, it's like you blink, it's halftime, you get a 12-minute break, and then you're home in like 90 minutes. Whereas this is, 10 or 11 hours at the arena. So it's the devil I know. But I've had to condition myself physically and mentally over the years to put myself in a position to not gas out, so to speak.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. You're definitely a black belt at commentating, dude. But so you've been studying MMA since 2009?
So I used to host a boxing radio show, and Gary Shaw was a boxing promoter. He started Elite XC, which was an MMA promotion, as you guys know. So in 2007, he invited the boxing media to Elite XC1 in Tunica, Mississippi. And that was the first MMA event that I covered live in 2007. The main event was Frank Shamrock and Renzo Gracie. And I still kind of think Frank Shamrock got a raw deal that night, but a lot of star power on that fight card. Gina Carano fought Julie Kedzie. Charles Crazy Horse Bennett knocked out KJ Noon spectacularly. So I'm a boxing guy. I go to this MMA event for the first time in 2007, 15 years ago, and my mind has effectively blown. Because even though I didn't necessarily love the dragons breathing fire and some of the histrionics that felt like professional wrestling to me, and I'm not a pro wrestling guy, the combat was so much more interesting to me than boxing. I couldn't admit that on my boxing show the next week, but my eyes got widened to mixed martial arts. And, I was calling my first MMA event for Bellator about 18 months later.
Damn. Dude, I want to go back on when you're talking about how long it is from the first fight to the last fight, commentating that long. I just thought of this. What if they had half the card, the first half, newer commentators or not the as advanced guys like yourself, and then the rest of the card, maybe the main card, the main event of the prelims to the end of the main card, switch commentators out? You ever think they'd do something like that, or do you think it is how it is and it'll stay like that?
God, I love the way your mind works. I hope that my bosses are watching the Sugar and Timbo show today, because at UFC 200, when I was the number 2 guy, they were trying to figure out a way to have our UK commentators do the Fight Pass prelims, John Gooden and Dan Hardy. Then Brian Stan and I, or whatever that mix, would do the middle batch of prelims on ESPN or Fox or FS1. And then you'd have Rogan and Goldie call the pay-per-view. So they have thought about doing it before. And certainly when I was like a boxing media guy, when I first started, like I'm showing up for the first fucking prelim and nobody's there, The commentators aren't even there. So we obviously need to lay audio and lay a track down for every single UFC fight. But to your point, in a perfect world, like I would not be calling 15 fights. If you want to save my best for last and have the most in my register for the pay-per-view, I shouldn't be there 6 hours prior calling fights, but it is what it is.
Yeah, right. I remember when I was doing the Contender Series, I'm pretty sure in front of in Cormier, I think there was like 2 monster cans, a little 5-hour energy. He was just puckering, just toughing through it. But
bag of Cheetos.
Little bag of Cheetos, no.
If someone, say a 18, 19-year-old, say their dream was to commentate in the UFC or just be a commentator, would you suggest they go to college, or what would you suggest they do?
Yeah, I mean, I went to college. My major was political journalism, but then I got out of college and realized that I needed to get a broadcasting internship. So I still ended up taking out a $12,000 loan, went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, where I eventually taught to like pay off my loan. Yes, I think secondary education is valuable for sure. I'm not sure it's as valuable as specific career training in broadcasting. Even though I have a 4-year degree, I can't sit here and say that having that degree in journalism helped me get all sorts of jobs. I do believe ultimately your ability and your work ethic are what's going to push you forward. But I would say, if you want to commentate, if you want to talk for a living, you need to start a podcast like yesterday. And even if your mother's the only one listening, you need to do it every week. And, Kenny Florian and I, we don't do big numbers. We've been doing our podcast every week for 7 years. And we focused on the content. We finally positioned the show to make money. But you got to focus on the content and getting your repetitions, because you never know when an opportunity is going to present itself. Like, dude, I was freaking out when Bellator called my number in 2009. I'm walking to the cage thinking they got the wrong guy. But thankfully, I had enough experience in other walks of life and in broadcasting where I wasn't terrible, but you got to just get reps by any means necessary so that, when they present you the Petr Yan fight, you're fucking ready to beat them.
Fuck yeah. Yes, sir. I cannot wait. Speaking of big fucking fights, Nate Diaz, Khamzat's coming up. This is such a tricky fight. I'm saying, and I think I'm just going with my heart more so than my head, I want Nate Diaz round 5 to somehow TKO and put him away from exhaustion. I don't know if we're gonna see that. I'm sure Khamzat's preparing for 5 rounds. Obviously, the Gilbert Burns was only 3 rounds. He left everything out there as he should. But I would love to see Nate Diaz somehow, some way get the job done.
In your opinion, John, what's the percentage that Nate could pull it off?
Higher than the betting odds would indicate. And I'm getting chills as you guys set this up. I'm really excited. And not just because I have a 209 tattoo. I believe Nate Diaz is a live underdog. I'm not sure that anybody other than Dana White has been more promotionally excited about Khamzat Chimaev than me. He's the best prospect that I have ever seen. But that 8-minute mark is magic to me. If Nate Diaz can get through the first 8 minutes, a round and a half, try to extend Khamzat, to your point, anything can happen. Certainly he knows his way around a submission. I feel like Nate is very dangerous there. I think there's going to be a strength discrepancy, perhaps a speed discrepancy. But I'm excited to see what Nate can do with the showcase. I can't bet on the UFC, but you never bet against a dog. Like people don't realize that a lot of people don't realize that Sean has that ticker and that dog in him because he hasn't necessarily gotten beat up, but I really feel like Nate has that dog, and I'm just excited. I just want it to go to a second round, like I'd be excited if Khamzat had this monumental highlight, of course, early on, but I don't know. I think Khamzat's going to rush him, and I'm just hoping Nate can extend the fight. I don't want to leave feeling shortchanged. Like when Henry Cejudo knocked out TJ Dillashaw in 33 seconds, as great as it was, I wanted to see more fighting.
Yeah.
I'm curious with Khamzat, is he going to come out with a pace to make a statement and put him away in 3 minutes? Or is he going to come out and say, hey, I know this kid can weather the fucking storm. I'm going to pace myself a little bit. I'm curious how he comes out.
I am too. I shouldn't get too predictive, especially when I'm staring at 2 guys that are far more experts than I am. But, yeah, I think he's going to really go for it early on. I really do. I don't think he's going to be measured at all. I think it's going to be an approach that's rooted in reckless abandon. And I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited. I'm honestly, when I look at some of these numbers online in certain sports books and I see Nate Diaz plus 940, That's insane to me. So I don't know. I would give him, 20% chance to win. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's crazy to think Nate Diaz had the welterweight champ on fucking wobbly legs about a year ago here in Phoenix too. I mean, the sport is so crazy. I just listened to Kamaru Usman on Rogan podcast, which was really fucking good. Kamaru is the definition of a championship mindset, win or lose. But yeah, that division opened up quite a bit with Kamaru losing the belt to Leon, because I want to see Leon versus Masvidal, but I know it doesn't make too much sense. But that's the fight I would love to see. I don't.
Feels like the welterweight division just opened up a ton with Chimaev and Colby and Leon and Jorge and just
Gilbert, Masvidal.
It's gonna get crazy, boys.
No, I mean, you guys set it up well. Like when Juliana Pena beat Amanda Nunes, it effectively opened up that whole women's bantamweight division. And that's exactly what has happened here. And, I know it's sort of liberating for Kamaru Usman in some way to not have that championship pressure, but Sean, you're absolutely right. Like, this dude is so mentally forged. Like, even seeing the way he has handled the aftermath of this particular setback, maybe his approach will be a little bit more conservative in this trilogy fight. But with respect to your enthusiasm for Masvidal and Edwards, obviously they got to do the trilogy now, I think. Yeah. But perhaps the calendar won't align, but you always run the risk that Leon loses that belt,
Right.
And I'm not sure that that's a risk that the promotion wants to take. But, my dream fight going into 2021 in any division was Khamzat Chimaev versus Colby Covington. And I do think there's a chance that we might actually get that fight at some point, and even for an interim belt potentially. So I'm hopeful that they lock the door behind those guys. Of course, Khamzat has his business first this weekend.
Yeah, I think Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns, I know that's kind of the fight in talks. That's such an interesting fight too. The way Khamzat in the first round grabbed Gilbert Burns and dragged him, that's what I keep thinking when I think Nate versus Khamzat. I'm like, God damn it, dude. If he dragged Gilbert like that.
Well, I'm worried Nate's going to accept that bottom position and get his guard pass and get mounted. And then that's where I feel like he's going to have a lot of problems. But they haven't announced it yet. But Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, possible boxing match. Who you got?
Whew. It's interesting at 185 pounds, right? Because that is a factor. Certainly that's something that Jake Paul wants to have happen, to have Anderson cut down to 185. So depending on where the price was, I would probably want to see like the lead up in fight week, but Anderson Silva all day, right? Yeah. I think my heart though wants that result so much that I would have to be on the other side. Like when Jake Paul fought Tyron Woodley, like I had to be on the Paul side, right? Because my heart was so invested with Tyron Woodley that if my wallet is also invested, it's like getting kicked in the dick twice. So I think Anderson Silva beats him, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover. That's for sure.
I'm curious. I know that's kind of been the narrative. Like that's what's going to happen. I wonder, because Jake still hasn't came out and announced it, right? I don't think it's official still. You said Anderson got his boxing license here in Phoenix,
Arizona,
so it could possibly be in Arizona, October 30th or something, but still hasn't been announced from Jake's side. I wonder if. He always wants to announce it and be extraordinary and be big, so maybe they're working on something. But I'm so curious if that's the fight that's going to happen. I fucking hope so.
Yeah. I do too. I really think it's interesting the extent to which Jake Paul has to lean into MMA and retired UFC fighters to move his needle. Now, obviously, the UFC cuts my check, and I like Jake Paul. Like, I've been a supporter from day one. But it does seem to me like he really needs that high-profile MMA name to really swing the pay-per-view pendulum. I could be wrong, but I do find it interesting. And eventually one of these guys that we in our sport, love to such an extent is going to break through, and it's going to be pretty exciting. But, I'm telling you, Jake Paul's a fucking workhorse. Like, he works hard. He puts in the right work. Like, I can assure you there are at least 200 fighters on our roster that don't work as hard as Jake Paul,
Yeah, that's fair to say, I would say.
Yeah, and Anderson being as tall as he is, and I think it might be the first real southpaw that Jake Paul fought. I hope that fight happens too. It's going to be sweet. So with your job and stuff, what do you have a pretty set schedule, routines? Do you have a time for creativity? Do you have a time to where you pick out what you and Kenny want to talk about on your pod, or kind of what are your routines like?
For our podcast specifically, part of the reason why we feel like it's been successful is that because it is meat and potatoes in a lot of respect. You do know what you're getting. You're getting a fight recap and you're getting a preview for the next pay-per-view and predictions. But It's been tough, Timmy. I'm not going to lie to you, man. The international travel is all going to start coming back, and that obviously adds a little bit of a wrinkle. I'm at this wedding today, so normally I'd be doing my podcast, but instead we'll tape that as soon as I drive to Vegas on Monday night. The pay-per-view weeks are a tough navigation. Like, it truly is a sprint to the finish. And then, like, for Abu Dhabi, that adds some different wrinkles. But basically, I do about 25 of the 41 shows that we do. And I usually travel on Wednesday, and then I hit the red eye out whenever possible because I have, 3 kids, 11 and under, that I need to get home to. But that's been sort of the inconvenient truth for me, being away 100 nights a year for the last 11 years. And I'm really starting to miss a lot of things, So, I'm in a negotiation right now, I'll tell you guys, and I'm hopeful to be with the UFC long term. But I really have to think about it because, my son has a much harder time with these exits than my daughters ever did. So,
yeah. It's because your son is what, 4 or 5 years old now?
Yeah.
Is he getting into jiu-jitsu or wrestling or anything?
So he started to watch the fights a little bit, and he thinks that's just an invitation to take his sister down. But I do think he's going to have an appetite for it. And, if there were anything that I would ever criticize my father for, and I think he just didn't grow up in a wrestling community, but I just wish he had made me go to one wrestling practice one time. And even if I went home crying, so be it. My son will go to a wrestling practice one time. Like, if I can do anything for that kid. See, I covered high school wrestling as a print journalist. So I saw these kids, these 8th graders being brought up to varsity, cutting down to 103 pounds. And I just had a lot of respect for that whole process and the one-on-one and everything about it. So, yeah, but my son wants to be me. Like, my daughter used to take great issue when they would say, "Oh, you look like your dad." She's like, "I don't want to look like a man." I don't, my son wants to be me, He follows me in the garage when I go to smoke weed. My daughters never came out there. You know what I mean? So it's just a different navigation. I was saying to Brian Stan last night, it's a different pressure raising a boy because he's, at least right now, he thinks he's going to grow up and be me,
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, everyone I talk to, usually they're like, "I wish I would have wrestled." For you young bucks out there, if you have the chance to wrestle, it's free training. You will not regret it. You might regret it 2 hours into some of those practices, but it will pay off in the future 100%.
I remember playing in high school, freshman year, sophomore year. I'd be playing basketball, and I'd see the wrestlers running stairs. I'm like, "You fucking idiots." And then now looking back, everything's went good, so I can't complain. But yeah, wrestling in high school would have probably been beneficial for sure.
Can you play 5-on-5 basketball, or do you not do that because of your fighting career?
Right now?
Because I just feel like, and I just feel like basketball in particular, it's just a lot of physicality, a lot of injury. Every time, I'm 44 years old, but every time I play hoops, I get hurt.
Dude, I don't do anything that's gonna risk getting hurt just because. It's just not worth it. But basketball was probably my favorite sport to play. If the boys are over and we're shooting hoops, I'll play a little bit. But yeah, I try not to do anything. I played soccer a couple months ago, and my fucking knees were hurting so bad that I was like, "God damn it, I can't even do that." So I'm gonna try to prolong my career as long as possible. I'm thinking 35, 36, 37. So I'm gonna stay out of those fucking things.
We've talked about doing a charity 3-on-3 basketball tournament with a lot of UFC athletes. You saw some of those guys at International Fight Week. We're playing together. But what gives me pause is that one of the better players on our roster, I don't want anywhere near that 3-on-3 tournament at any point in time until you retire.
I'd be competitive too, and I'd hustle and I would want to win. There was the guy, I forget his name. What's that guy that just tore his foot? The 7-footer. Do you remember? Chet Holmgren.
A lot of them.
He just did the Liz Frank surgery. The same surgery.
Oh, yeah. He was the number 2 pick in the draft. His name's escaping me right now.
What was it?
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren. Yeah, he just had the Liz Frank surgery. That fucking surgery, when I broke my foot against Andre Soccer Mom, that took 2 years. 2 years till it stopped hurting, and even still sometimes I have a problem with it. That surgery sucks so bad. But he just got that playing basketball, I guess, is where I was going with that. In a pro-am. It wasn't even it was just a for fun game. So fuck, that sucks. It'd probably be a blessing in disguise. That was for me anyway, but yeah, it's not worth the risk for sure.
For sure.
And the general manager of that team, real quickly, he sort of defended him playing in that pro-am, because the fact of the matter is, if you love basketball the way these guys do, you're playing all the time, and these injuries can happen any time, whether you're playing with your team or going through a workout. I just have seen so many Achilles injuries in basketball that for me, I play one-on-one with my twin brother, but we go fucking light. Like we go light, because if we go hard, like somebody's not walking.
Pushing the pace.
God, it's making me want to actually play some ball.
That's why, right? Because like, some of these guys, like they just love it to such an extent, and they're just going to throw caution to the wind. But no, I mean, at your level, you have no choice but to take the approach that you're taking.
Yeah. Hey, Jon, so what's your weed routine? Do you like to smoke weed just at nights, or do you like to do it before you watch shows or before dinner? What's your routine like?
It really depends on what my day is going to entail. I mean, I have a lot of childcare that sometimes is prohibitive in terms of, how much I smoke. If it were up to me, I would wake up, I would go run 4 miles, and I'd be stoned before the sun comes up. That's the time of day that I would enjoy it the most, but I go to bed pretty early, so, and again, our bedtime routine with 3 kids is like fucking 90 minutes, but I do have some time during the day. Generally speaking, I like to run sober, and I run a lot, but sometimes obviously I don't have to tell you guys, like you get that mental escape, and I can go miles, because I'm under the influence, and it just takes my mind to anything but that run. But, I feel like it's therapeutic for me, and, whatever success I have had professionally, I do feel like in some part, self-medicating with cannabis for me, has been a key to my success, because I am like, I'm not high strung, but I'm type A, and I can be like a little bit tunneled. And I think it kind of like balances me out a little bit, and chills me out. And candidly, I'm 44, been using it since I was 15, so it's a long time. Like I always tell, I'm not going to throw this fight, but I always tell some of these fighters, it's like, I got you beat just because I'm older than you. I
like hearing that too, because like a lot of these kids growing up, not even kids, older people just abuse marijuana. They use it as like, it's just
coping mechanism
all day, every day, just to get through the fucking day. To whereas it's good to see people like you use it as a reward or use it to enhance what you were doing. And I think that's something we've always kind of preached, because I have buddies that just use it. They can't get through the day without it. Just like any other drug. I mean, marijuana is still a drug. It's just like any other drug. But yeah, no. So it's good to hear. It's refreshing to hear.
But, I go to Abu Dhabi, right? And it's like, obviously there's no physical like addiction, So thankfully I chose the right substance to use regularly, I guess, dude, like I had 3 tequilas last night, I wake up today, it's like, that's pouring poison down your throat. And that's what's socially encouraged. I still got to sneak around, even in California, I feel like, to smoke weed. But it's interesting. Man. I don't drink.
What can we expect in Abu Dhabi? Sugar and I, we've never been there, or you've been there?
I went to Dubai for just briefly, so no, never been.
What can we expect? We're gonna go out there October 6th, I believe. Yep. So 2 weeks before, and we're gonna try to, but we don't really know what to expect.
Well, certainly you should try to go to Dubai, which is an hour away. A lot of our crew has experienced that. I can't tell you in totality what to expect, because there have been times where I've gone there where it's been Fight Island in a bubble, which is just crazy. Like we're riding bikes at night around this circle and running laps in an area where we're confined. But now I think it'll be completely opened up. It's just a very unique experience. I'm so glad that you're getting the chance to coach there and compete there, and in a high profile fight. It's wild, we haven't had too many full crowds there, if memory serves. So I don't think it's going to be the most robust, raucous crowd.
I think the tickets sold out like fast. I think this.
So I wonder how many people, like, do we know how many people are in the Etihad Arena?
That's a good question. What were you thinking when you saw Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan? A lot of people were fucking baffled and couldn't believe it. They had to double check, make sure that was real. What were your thoughts?
Not surprised, motherfuckers, not surprised at all. I know how highly Sean Shelby and the brass think of you. And I have said, anyone who's listened to the Anik podcast knows how much respect I have for you, Sean, for you, Tim, for the way you guys approach it, everything that you have in terms of the synergy together. But I've been saying for probably 2 years now that Sean O'Malley is elite and just needs his opportunity to produce on a big stage against a high profile fighter, and it's not just getting the fight, it's going there and actually beating a guy who we have all put on a bantamweight pedestal, and rightfully so, in Petr Yan. I'm excited for you in all of these potential matchups against Aljo and everybody else, bro, so maybe some people think it's a scotch premature, but that was obviously not at all my mentality. I mean, maybe I'm too close to it, but dude, I'm watching you on Quintet Ultra. Like, dude, people don't realize how willing a grappler you are, how well-rounded you are, the heart. You're the total package, and I'm not fucking saying it because I'm on your show.
I say it on my show. Yeah, I've heard it on your show. Appreciate that. I looked it up. I think it says capacity is 18,000 at the Etihad Arena.
Yes, that'll be the loudest, biggest crowd we've had on Fight Island. I keep calling it Fight Island in Abu Dhabi.
That's pretty similar to T-Mobile Arena. I think 18,000 roughly is what it is. I'm not vaccinated, so we're gonna have to. And the UFC just sent out an email. We have to get tested every 48 hours that we're there, and we're gonna be there for about little over 14 or 2 weeks, so probably about 15, 16 days. So, are you vaccinated? Do you have to deal with that bullshit?
So that's interesting. So when the first time I went to Abu Dhabi and we were all quarantined for 48 hours, I tested positive and it almost was a disaster. Yeah. Long story short, I ended up being tested 5 times in my room over the next 36 hours, turned around 5 negative tests, and all is well that ends well. But yeah, I mean, I had to get boosted to go to Singapore, I believe, and just right now, I'm not in the position where I want to be, missing shows, never mind missing pay-per-views. So I think that led to the decision. My wife got vaxxed, but wasn't going to get boosted and still hasn't gotten boosted. But yeah, I guess that's a wrinkle for you guys. That's a little bit inconvenient, huh?
Yeah, especially because I know in Abu Dhabi, the NBA is actually going there this Saturday. So we get there Thursday. The NBA is going there for the first time, I think. And they're going to have games like Thursday and Saturday. And the Abu Dhabi people, I forget what they call them, really want us to go, but I'm like, fuck, I don't know if it's worth going. I mean, I think we've all had COVID and we should be good, but yeah, I guess we'll have to play it by ear or whatever, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I got to tell you guys though, in terms of the hospitality and just the way people are treated and treat people over there, it's an awesome place, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I'm so pumped for this fight, and with the Abu Dhabi backdrop, dude. That's
And Islam versus Charles, and I mean Sean Brady versus Belal's a crazy fight. It's kind of low. It's kind of under the radar just because the my fight co-main, the main is such a huge fight, but that whole card is really looking fucking sweet.
Right now,
yeah, it's the card of the year. There are a lot of Americans that are coming to Abu Dhabi for the first time for this fight card. My tickets are gone, and it's American UFC fan who reached out to me on Twitter, and it's like, yeah, dude, you want to pay for your flights? You've been a loyal supporter. Let's go. Got a lot of people stateside coming to Abu Dhabi for that one.
Who are you leaning towards, Charles or Islam?
I don't know if he can say.
Well, I can't say, but I will tell you, I would not walk to a window and bet against Charles Oliveira right now.
Yeah.
Why would you do it? I would find a baseball game, find a basketball game, find something else to bet on. I just think that dude is a freak. The danger factor everywhere. I'm stealing that from Dan Hardy, but it's so pronounced that there's just no area of safety. It's as compelling a matchup as we can put together. And Islam, I just think, is such a nuanced athlete just in terms of some of the little subtleties to his game that you guys see that I only know about because of Daniel Cormier, his ability to get you down and keep you there. And just some of the subtleties on the ground are really incredible. But with Charles, all bets are off. I don't even know what the betting line is right now. I think it's a close fight. I certainly think Charles deserves to be the favorite. But big picture, I would never, even if contractually I could bet on the UFC, I would never bet against Charles right now. And I said that, going into, I think, his last 3 fights, find another option.
Yeah. His last 3 fights. I mean, he's the champ. Everyone can kind of agree with that. It's been crazy how his career's played out and how he's right. I would love to see him go in there and submit Islam and get that fight with Conor. I think that's obviously a massive fight. Anytime Conor fights, even if he doesn't deserve it, it's like Charles deserves that fucking huge fight. And I'd love to see Conor come back. I would never fuck it, throw him in a title fight. I don't care. I want to see Conor fight again. I miss that. It's crazy to me that when Conor fights, it's 1 million pay-per-view buys minimum. That's what he's doing. That's what I find so fascinating and so sweet about just how big of a star he is he can fight anyone, 1 million pay-per-views guaranteed, and that's the shit I fucking just get excited about.
Well, and especially because you're one of the 6 or 8 guys that has the potential to be that guy, or to be on that level. And there just aren't that many on a roster of 700. And I'm not blowing smoke when I say that, But yes, I would like to see Charles be rewarded with that fight. Certainly, you got to think that he's going to call for that payday and for that legacy fight. And I do think that Conor McGregor is sort of underappreciated as a martial artist because of how big his persona has become. I mean, the reason he's still fighting, like I've been asked the question for years, oh, Conor's done in the UFC. It's like, no, this is what he wants to do. Like he wants to fight. He's a fighter. He's a martial artist, So yeah, I hope that fight happens. But, I never saw Charles Oliveira as a quitter. Like even when there were some things that didn't go his way, the unfortunate injury in the Max Holloway main event in Saskatoon in 2015, I never saw him as a quitter. And, it's always stuck with me. In one of our fighter meetings, Sean said, yes, he fights for his daughter, but he didn't need the extra motivation. Like Sean O'Malley had a world championship level motivation before he procreated, right? And Charles Oliveira has said his daughter has been part of the reason for this resurgence and this renaissance. And I think it sounds good. I'm not sure that it's been that as much as it has been just like his wholehearted commitment to everything that it takes to be the best and stay the best, because his skill set is just absurd. But, like Luke Rockhold is 6-5 in the UFC. Skill for skill, maybe the best middleweight I've ever seen. 6-5 in the UFC. And Charles Oliveira was not going to have his fate be, a 500 fighter in the UFC. Look at him now.
Damn, that's interesting.
It's insane with Charles, too, the fact that he says how bad his vision is, and he goes in there. That's what makes me think if the match did happen with Conor, fuck, you never know because Conor's so pinpoint with his strikes. It's like fucking crazy.
Yeah, so you guys can't get LASIK, but you can get some
PRK.
Some sort of procedure. Billy Quarantello just got it done, as a fighter. And PRK, I think it's called. Yeah. And yeah, dude, Oliveira's blind. Like I used to joke about Roxanne Modafferi when it looked like she was throwing at air. Imagine if she could fucking see, maybe you hit the target, It's crazy. Charles is effectively blind in there, and I know Bilal Muhammad deals with that a little bit. If you're a fighter and you're watching this, look into that PRK treatment. Gabe Green got it done. If you used to throw the car keys at Gabe Green, he couldn't even catch him. Now he's 2020.
That's crazy.
I wonder why Charles hasn't got the PRK yet. I wonder if he's scared to go under the laser, or because it's a 15-minute treatment and both eyes are done in 15 minutes, and within 2 days you're seeing better. Within a week you're seeing perfect. I'm actually getting it done next week.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my twin brother got it done, but now he needs reading glasses. I don't see any reason why Charles wouldn't have got it done. I actually, Tim, feel like in advance of one of our fighter meetings, I made a note to ask him about it, and just for whatever reason, never got to it. But in Abu Dhabi, I'm going to ask him about it, and I'll circle back.
It'd be interesting too if say Charles does go out there and win. They set up Volkanovski versus Charles, because who the fuck is going to beat Alexander Volkanovski? I rewatched his Zombie. Actually, I watched it for the first time, him versus Zombie, the other day, because I actually didn't watch it when it was live. Volkanovski is so goddamn good everywhere. So fast. Just a ball of muscle, too. That would be an interesting fight, especially because Charles is quite a bit bigger than Volkanovski, but still, Volk's a fucking tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy how good he's gotten. And he said to us, the first time he fought Max Holloway, he's basically beating him with cardio and competitive spirit. And now he's beating him with this layered martial arts game that, yes, looks levels above the rest of the featherweight division. I just feel like I see guys in the featherweight division right now. I'd like to see the old guy, Josh Emmett, get rewarded. I would like to see Yair Rodriguez get a championship opportunity right fucking now, based upon his body of work and just some of the circumstances that have come to become the narrative of his career. I think Arnold Allen is worthy. I think Bryce Mitchell is interesting, if a couple fights away. But yeah, I mean, Volkanovski certainly has earned the opportunity in this era to become a double champion. It's an exciting time, man. It really is, especially for 35 through 70. Our best divisions have never been better, 1 through 25.
Yeah, Kamaru on the podcast, he was talking about going up to 205. It's just skipping 85. Obviously, Israel's there. If he goes, his plan was to beat Leon and then go up to 205 and fight Yuri, right? Who's that? Yuri's the champ right now?
Yeah, Yuri.
Oh, what a fucking... If anyone's going to do it, it probably is that motherfucker. But that just sounds absolutely insane. But
I'm curious to see, just like Khabib says, it takes a special man to come back from getting KO'd like that. And I definitely think Kamaru's like that, but you never know.
If you listen, I feel like I listen to the podcast. You can fake it too. I mean, but I just feel like he's genuinely I was winning that fight. I just got head kick. It's the fight game, but I'm better than that motherfucker. Yeah. That's what he says, and that seems... Genuine. I mean, it's accurate too. He won the whole fight pretty much. Mounted.
That's the scary part, though. Knowing you can go into a fight, have a great fight camp, be winning the whole fight, and then just like that, you lose. So
yeah,
putting that in the back of your, out of your head is fucking special.
Yeah, and maybe if he gets touched early and gets a little wobbled, that might have some of that doubt creep in terms of his ability to take a shot. But I'm with you, Sean. We have the same read. Like when Holly Holm knocked out Ronda Rousey, it was like, hey, Ronda, welcome to your new life. And I felt like for Kamaru, it was the same thing. And yet it was almost a tired narrative for me because he was able to mentally make it so that he is still Kamaru Usman. He still feels like the best in the world. And obviously he's probably going to be a 3-1 favorite for the trilogy fight whenever that goes down. So.
Yeah. When he beat the guys he's beat in the fashion and the way his career's played out, I bet it's hard to not feel like the fucking man, even though he did get fucking he says he took a 20-minute nap. It's crazy to hear too. He says he has zero, like there's no headaches, no nothing, just feels completely fucking normal. But he didn't take a ton of damage before that. The head kick he said took 20-minute nap, woke up in the back of the ambulance and it was like fine, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I think Ferguson kind of with the Chandler knockout, like didn't really have too many after effects. I mean, Dominic Cruz didn't even break his nose when Cheeto kicked him, So, it's interesting, man. It really is. But unlike Ronda, like Kamaru is not 7-0 when this knockout happened. Yeah. Maybe she was 10-0 or whatever she was, but it's just crazy. Like, I can't say this enough. Like, this dude was 56 seconds away from a 20-fight winning streak in modern-day mixed martial arts, tying Anderson Silva's record. All that shit goes away with one head kick. And now people who've been banging on Leon Edwards for years, who had all this ammunition when Nate Diaz rallied late and the eye poke with Bilal, Leon Edwards, if he wanted to, could extend his middle finger. And he kind of did with his post-fight interview to all these haters out there. So happy for Leon, man. So happy.
Yeah, what a cool motherfucker. Pound for pound, headshot, dead. That was one of the most gangster fucking post-fight speeches of all time.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I literally, I have listened to that audio probably 100 times. I've only watched the highlight back a few times, but I keep replaying that audio. I want it as my ringtone, I mean, talk about maximizing your microphone time. Dude, he couldn't have done more.
And he said, I asked him too, I said, was that off the top of the head or did you fucking plan that? Because, people like to plan some shit. He said off the top of the head. Fucking just made it up. But our cameras are dying. Jon Anik, thank you so fucking much for coming on. Check him out on the Anik and Florian podcast. Appreciate you, brother. Great. I need to get your address. I need to send you a nice little care package. Appreciate you rocking the merch, brother.
Thank you, John.
Love you, boys. I appreciate you having me on sincerely. I'll see you guys in Abu Dhabi, all right?
Yep. Thank you, brother. Have a good time at that wedding, brother. Man, that was great. Jon Anik. It's cool. Jon Anik has kind of him and Ariel is just like both just so passionate about their spot in the MMA community. It's fucking sweet.
Yeah, you get a passionate, actually like pretty intelligent person. It's fun to talk to him.
Yeah, that went really well.
So he's giving Nate 20%.
Yeah, it's hard for him too. He can't. I mean, you can't bet or say who because he has to commentate on it. But yeah, 20%, dude.
That's still a percent.
It's still a percent.
Yeah, but that's pretty sweet. It's sweet. He smokes up, burns too.
Yeah.
But dude, I just can't imagine traveling as much as he does with 3 kids. I mean, but with 3 kids, maybe we're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I'm out.
I was thinking about it this morning because I was changing Elena's diaper and she was just being cute, and you just get this, when you see something really cute, you watch something cute maybe, or you get this like tickle in your tummy. It just doesn't happen a lot when you don't have a baby. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you're have feelings.
I have fucking puppies that you love as much as Elena. That I love as much as Elena.
No, you don't. Anyway, this feeling you get, this tingly, like, whoa, that was so cute. Like, you get that every single day with your baby. It's so trippy that it would be so hard for me to be gone more than I am right now. But I was telling Danny, she's never said she wanted anything about a second baby, ever. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, it'll be nice when Elena's older. Like, I'll be able to travel way more and, like, do more shit. And then she's like, well, unless we get baby fever again. I'm like, and then I said, you know what? I see what you did there. I said I'm going to be traveling more when Elena's older, but my ass isn't going to be traveling as much if we have another baby. I seen what you did there, you little, and I fucking slapped her.
Dude, that's why it fucking, the people that go on deployment for like 3 months, 6 months to like an actual war, like, is there some, like, obviously thankful for those guys because we're free because of it, but is there something wrong up there? And when you're like, I'm going to leave my kid, my baby, I'm going to miss all these things.
It's kind of
It's
sad.
it's job security though. It's money. It's like I'm setting these guys up. They're safe back in the way. They have money. I mean, it is, yeah, but I'm risking my life. It's
You can see about month 6 it starts to change for them, because I was there for 8 months, and month 6 you're like, fuck, I just want to go back.
But no,
to my
if you had a
family.
baby, if you had a fresh baby,
some people have they give birth and they don't even see the baby till they're 6, 7, 8 months, which almost would be better than seeing him born 1 month and then leaving for, oh my god, I don't know, that would be just fucking. That
We're
would fuck
blessed
me
to
up.
live in a time of FaceTime too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that really helps with a lot of that.
Oh god,
yeah,
Elena,
I don't see how those guys do that though. I mean, thank God they do, but it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't know if there's anything that could get me to leave my kid and possibly die and never see that baby and my wife again.
It's hard to
Right.
get you to leave the couch, bud.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Dude.
Yeah.
Thankful for those guys.
Welcome.
They were talking about. I was watching this History 101 documentary on Netflix that came out. It just came out. You should watch it. It's fucking interesting.
I already know.
They're talking about if a solar
flare, solar eclipse, solar flare,
solar storm happened, that it could wipe out everything.
Yeah.
It could wipe out the GPS. It could wipe out internet. The world would go into a fucking panic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If
I've heard
that
Rogan
shit got wiped out.
Oh,
Rogan's
yeah.
talked about that shit a couple of times, and it always freaks me out. I'm like, God damn it! At least I have my fucking
We have
gold
our
chain.
Well, my car wouldn't work anymore. But we have Mariah's truck, so we'd have the gym
Until
and then
gas ran out at the local gas station.
yeah. And then-
Anarchy would break out. I feel like people would start fighting.
I got a fucking AR-15 at my house.
I got a
Come on.
9, dude.
I got a 7, but
You shot your AR yet?
no, my dad's gonna be here in a couple days though, and we're gonna go shooting, and it'll be good.
You just come to visit or what?
Yeah, he's coming down for I think a week. Yeah, and then Michael's moving into my apartment. I'm a little nervous about that.
I bet. Did you see big Zuckerberg hitting the MMA skills?
Yeah, you see I commented, and he commented back.
Oh, did he?
I said, "Damn, I love to see it," which it was sweet to see. And he said, "Excited for your fight against Jon." I said, "You should come."
That's cool. Someone of his stature. I mean, could you tell he was hitting like a little blue belt sweep, a triangle, armbar triangle.
He was on Rogan. They were talking about him.
How much do you
training,
train?
and he trains. He's trains quite a bit, and he says he has 100% conversion rate talking to his friends. Everybody he's ever said, "You got to try jiu-jitsu." They love it. They get addicted. But
Really?
Yeah. I wish my little brother will not do jiu-jitsu, but he would be so good because it is such a thinking game too. It's an athletic and thinking.
And he's athletic, yeah.
And that's the combination. You can be athletic and be good at jiu-jitsu. You can be smart and end up being good at jiu-jitsu. But if you're athletic and smart, you can be great at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You can be great at jiu-jitsu not being one or the other.
Yeah,
but
some people learn quicker. Some people have that more kind of analytical mind.
Sono's
too.
going to start jiu-jitsu. He's committed. He's excited.
Wait till I lose this gut. I'm gonna be locked in.
What makes it people? Is it a fear, or is it an ego thing, or is it like I don't want to tap out to someone smaller or a girl, or what is it that stops people from doing it? It's got to be the fear.
For like someone like Daniel,
Yeah.
well, for Schmitty, because Schmitty will. I don't know if Schmitty will ever go to a jiu-jitsu class ever again. I don't know what it is for him. Probably no, it's not that. It's. I think it's his being scared of getting tired. For Daniel, I think it's just the human contact.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he played football and he like trying to truck stick motherfuckers.
Well, and if you feel a little bit bougie about that, and you don't like people sweat on you in the gi, you don't really get a lot of sweat on you. You have this thick gi that's covering your body,
Yeah.
so it's not really sweaty and nasty.
It's sweet. It changed. I mean, Brendan has a whole found new confidence about him. He fucking walk around 5'1", fucking looking jacked too. Took his shirt off the other day just fucking cuz.
Damn.
Yeah.
For me, I was nervous to like suck in front of everybody, like just be bad. And then Taya whipped my ass, and I was like, well, embarrassing's
Can't
out
get
the
worse
window.
than that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're okay with that, those are the best people though that can come in and not really care if you get tapped out, and not really care if you lose in practice.
Yeah. It's such a skill. I mean, even for me, losing sparring rounds or whatever, it's such a skill to be able to go in, lose a round, and then just be like, it not affect you. To be able to move on to the next round or even move on with your day. I remember early on when I moved to the lab, if I lost a fucking spar, it would fuck up my whole
Same.
day, dude.
Same.
It would fuck up my whole day. Now I'm such at a good spot to I'm like, this is the worst. I want to be losing. I need to be fucking losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's good. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. We're 7 weeks out. We're 7 weeks out, babe. We're leaving for Abu Dhabi in about 32 days or some shit. 7 weeks out from yesterday from the fight. Whee! Best shape. I'm going to be in the best shape. 100%, hands down. Pretty much going back-to-back fight camps fighting this motherfucker.
I think this is going to be probably the first fight, too, that literally you could make this a sprint from start to finish if you want. You're going to be in such fucking tip-top shape. If Petr decides to come out and rush you that first minute, like, fine, let's make it a sprint for 15 minutes. Let's keep up.
Yeah. God, I feel like I don't know how he's going to come out. I thought Pedro was going to come out and be a little bit more aggressive.
Bro, I'm telling you, the way you switch stances and when you're out of range like that, it's easy to say, I'm gonna go get in his face. But then once you feel the movement in front of you, you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, then you get hit with a jab, and you're like, what hand was that? Oh, yeah. I feel very confident going into this fight. I don't feel like he's gonna be able to do what he thinks he's going to be able to do. But I also know how fucking good he is, which makes it that much more exciting for me.
Yeah, and that he's not the type of kid. He's not going to wilt unless his lights are out.
Yeah.
He's going to come forward mean and angry the whole fight unless his lights are turned out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be sweet. He has some. I mean, dude, he's the number 1 guy fighting the number 13 guy. Like, he has to win. He needs to come out there. Let's see if he can hit me.
He's training for real, though. I mean, he's fucking training for real. I think
he knows.
He's probably training, I mean, easily just as hard as this than for any title fight.
Yeah. This is a big fight for him. Only thing big about him.
It was sick to see that yesterday too at the lab, like how locked in everybody is, not anybody fucking around.
Yeah, that's
and, like,
everyone's life. That's everyone's fucking. That's
yes.
their work.
Yeah,
we're at work. Yeah, pick Sonnen up in the Lambo, cruise to the lab. Sheesh.
That was fun.
Is that your first time driving in the Lambo?
Yes, it was.
Had chicks pulling up, yelling at us. One.
Dang.
Sono says 3 weeks he's getting puss. He'll have puss within 3 weeks here. He says there's some baddies at the Christian Academy.
Oh my God.
But he's Christian.
If
so
they're willing, that's a different story. But
yeah.
Well, that's a good question. What's wrong with a Christian liking a little bit of foreplay?
I mean, that's a great question. That's a great question. I don't know. I wish you could ask God. Say, hey God, I'm not gonna do this rule.
Is that cool with you?
Is that cool with you?
He said, yeah, as long as you ask for forgiveness on Sunday, bro.
Well, I would be a great Christian, but there's girls like Margie walking around, and I
That's
can't
true.
help
There's
myself.
some whopping
Exactly.
I can't.
Jeez.
And that shows what type of Christian you are.
That's true.
Chill.
No, it does. Is that fair?
I feel like you could be a good Christian and still get some puss.
I think you're kind of Christian because you're scared to go to hell.
That's a fair point.
I think that's why most. I don't know.
But I still believe in God. I just like pussy too. If that makes sense.
I don't know. If that
Well,
makes sense.
the rules that you're saying you're wanting to go by don't go with that. So you might have to change them around a little bit.
Maybe find a new religion, Jobinism or something.
Jobinism.
You can believe in God, but you can get pussy. Exactly.
Yeah, God supports you getting puss.
Yeah, God wants the
In
boys to get
Jobinism.
puss.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's live, baby.
I don't think. I mean, if there's a God, if you're being respectful to the girl, and you're making her feel good, she's making you feel good. You're not married. I don't think God's gonna send you to hell because of it.
Well, I mean,
I agree with that. I would hope so.
Well, it says though
in the Bible,
your book.
Okay, but there's a lot. It also says.
What
eye
about
for an
gay
eye in
people?
the
You don't
Old
like
Testament.
gay people either?
I like everybody.
Oh, so you don't follow that one?
Well, I'm not myself is not homosexual,
No,
but I
but
support them.
gay
doing
people
what
are
else.
cool.
Speaking of that, George Janko's coming on my pod on
Speaking of
Wednesday,
gay?
and we're gonna have
that what you said?
some religion conversations because he's
yeah,
one
that's
Christian
true.
that I truly feel like he goes by the book.
Has he
For the
had
most
premarital sex though?
Of course.
Well, he's with a girl. He's with a girl now, and he's not married, so he's having premarital sex. So I'll definitely bring it up. But he's one guy that I'm like, he has his girlfriend, and if a hot chick in a room, fucking 10, said, "Hey, let me suck your D," he would probably say no.
No.
No way.
I think he would. I feel like it. Maybe not. But there's rarely a guy that would do that.
Oh, I'm folding every time.
Yeah.
I think 99% of guys
Depends how
are,
horned up.
and the guys that are out there that say nope. It's like you would never have the opportunity, so you could say no.
Yeah,
but
that's
you
fair.
You don't nut for 2-3 days, and a sexy girl in some random spot is like, hey, just let me suck you off real quick. No one will ever know about it. Like, come the fuck on, dude. Don't lie. Val. Nope, I wouldn't do it.
You fold? You'd stay loyal to your chick, even though she getting domed?
Bro, I'd be hard before
Wait, you
the
got a
question
chick
was
still?
over.
Same one?
Yeah.
What the Man, this guy just... Shit, I've had the same boo for 8 years. But I still... Yeah, that's part of the deal, though. Oh yeah, I told you, Danny and I came up with a new deal. I just had to buy her like a bag or something
Every
if I
time you
get
fuck?
smashed. Yeah.
That's
I'll-
sick.
Yeah, I'll buy you a little chain, buy you a bag.
I wonder if a lot of girls out there would do something similar if their guys like, I'll buy you something for $1,000. You pick whatever you want. I'm just gonna pound the strange one time.
Yeah. The thing nowadays is like, Danny, at least you should know, like, I'm here to stay. It's not. I mean, we've been together for so long. A lot of girls don't want that to happen because they're scared of them leaving.
And then it's a good possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes you just need some strange. I haven't had strange in a long time, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for the girls to know, like, hey, you're my number one.
They want,
like, you're my girl that I love and I want to be with forever.
They want security. They want to know that you're their boo boo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you nod in their face and you show them you're their boo boo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying. What an episode, dude. I thought it was a great episode. That was fun. Whoa. Why did I keep saying
Jon Anik? What the fuck?
Jon Anik. Legend. That was fucking fire. What a crazy job, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did one and I was like, whew, this is like just one fighter. 10 minutes. That motherfucker does.
I wonder if any of those
hours.
guys do Adderalls.
Oh,
That's good. I'm sure.
they must. That would help locking.
I mean, for an 8-hour session, you're sharp, locked in, you're reading the paper, you're
Dude, they
watching
should do the 4 hour 4-4.
Yeah.
I think they should really
Good
switch
idea.
to that. Because like you said, you want the. I mean, it's impressive because they always sound like on point. The main event. I mean, it'd be hard not to have that kind of energy in that arena, and it's just like you'd feel like. But I don't know. Episode 203.
Yeah, episode 203. If you wouldn't mind, go check out my page, RedHawk
Hey.
Recap. We're having George Janko on this week. We're going to talk about some behind the scenes of Impulsive.
Damn.
Almost to 20,000 subscribers. Thanks to the
Let's
JX.
go.
Thanks to Sugar Shane. Thanks for all the boys. So, all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. See you next week. Love you.